one with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
I want everyone to take this in. The approach of Donald Trump, capitalism, and corrupt politicians.
Look, first of all, intelligence will save you. Anyway, me and Dr. West have spoken. You know, he allowed me to come to Harvard. I've been speaking on this subject for 14 years at a collegiate level.
And hip-hop legend Chuck D's perspective.
Critical race theory is basically teaching people to hate our country.
These are all distractions to manufacture consent from their base, to privatize education and build trust that they are the beaming light of truthfulness. They are not.
Understand this. Images control perception. Young people, perception is everything. You have to study Nazi propaganda to understand what's going on with the transmission of media images. You have to know the fact of advertising and subliminal seduction. It ain't nothing new. You have to understand there's a guy called Noam Chomsky that influenced me to make Don't Believe the Hype. You got to understand, when they have a revolution in the country everywhere around the world, what's the first place they attack?
Chuck D's influence is through education, through reading, through lectures, through critical thinking. This is what many fear. Smart people who can even use career teachers and authors to spur a top song for one of the greatest hip-hop groups of all time.
It cares about one thing, its own profits. Now, there's a property called systemic risk. The risk that if the market, say, crashes somewhere, it's going to be contagious. Okay, and there is that phenomenon. It's monstrous, in fact. But the investor doesn't think about that. Can't. You think about your own risk. You cannot think about the cost to others of the fact that contagion may destroy a system. That's not part of your calculations. That's another externality. So the system is sort of built to magnify extremely dangerous properties. And this happens all over the place.
It's like the smartest people are trying to explain it.
Democratic socialists want to end capitalism. Ma'am, we've traced the call. It's coming from inside the House and the Senate.
And some of the most powerful and influential fearmonger for what has led to worldwide destruction. For Chuck D,
they take over the television station and the radio station. Look, it's called a coup. They start there. Look, if Hot 97 was to die tomorrow, some crackers that call themselves the home of hip-hop wasn't even at KRS-One Hip-Hop Appreciation Week. Well, the home of hip. Who said? Because you must finance that. If they was to die tomorrow, I'm sorry, Stevens is my man. BT's owned by Viacom. That means it's that much more for me to get up in there.
Absolutely, yes.
The music industry has been greatly affected by the free market. It is a brilliant rant that focuses on many issues that still plague his career and the career of others in his field today.
How much concern do you have that someone who's so much older than you and your peers has any idea what matters to you?
I do think you start to see gaps in certain issues, not even on a partisan basis, but it's embarrassing to watch some senators ask questions to tech executives. It seems like they're clueless.
I think it's concerning, especially when we're talking about decisions that are being made that will affect us 10, 20 years down the line, when respectfully, some of these politicians may not be around to see the effects of their decisions.
Fantastic point. Chuck relates it to the classroom and influence once more.
In martial arts, in life, everything is balanced. We're balanced people. But when you look at the balanced people are not even, you don't even understand the effect. The Nation of Islam is here, not as a poetic, symbolic thing. These cats is in the cut. My guys, Brother James and Brother John, they're security in the school systems in Baltimore. What y'all really need to have this in the middle of a school system. Yo, I just spoke at Bed-Stuy 5th grade classroom. They bananas. Their number one question, and the reason that a lot of artists they're kind of scared, because they don't even know how to answer young kids. Because young kids are really quick. They're quick to ask them about contradiction. And if an older cat can't answer, he's like, yo, I can't even deal with them. Really, I mean, they twisted like that. I mean, 5th grade class, I said, who do you like? They said, of course, they're going to name all the artists they see in here. What do you feel? What do you like from them? Well, I like how they dress or whatnot. What do you get out of them? Nothing. Unanimously, they said nothing. All right, cool. Because I believe that in music, you can either help the people, hurt the people, or be neutral.
I can only say this. There was absolutely no collusion. Everybody knows it.
In addition, no matter the major player, the market demands a level of corruption and collusion to benefit.
Talib got to get equal time without a company having to spend $3 million and giving it to BET and a radio station. We got Crayola going on, y'all. Last point, before I step out and get some water. I'm telling y'all what's going down. It's antitrust, and I'm telling Hillary right here. It's antitrust and collusion. Jermaine can't start his independent company by himself. He got to hook up with one of the white boys. Simple as that. It's like it's antitrust, meaning the startup entrepreneur cannot start up a record company, cannot get in the radio game, and damn sure can't get in TV. So you got to get one of the boys. I'm saying, okay, this is America. You get with somebody. Does that mean that you smash out the beginning of business? That's why these kids are talking about, son, I can't get put on because I can't build my. They in cities like St. Louis, they might start a record company, can't get played on the St. Louis station. Why? Because all the corporations are all in collusion with each other. It's a goddamn shame. Nobody is dealing with the fabric of black America or even the fabric of some of these white kids. Tired of having people come up to me like Time and Newsweek. But what do you think about white kids and Columbine and stuff like that? Been going on in the black community for the last 20 years. So it floats to the top because this is cultural exchange. Culture is supposed to be exchanged. Human beings are supposed to share culture. That's what it's about. But when the companies narrowcast us to be one-dimensional, what do you think white kids gonna do? They're going to want to pick up and want to take it from us, and they're getting just this much, and no wonder they're going to act buck.
Every day, every little thing you do, it's such a gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business, you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme, 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 push, 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 step, 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 crush, crush, crush. It's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for $36 million, and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic, that's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1,000,000 billion and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants.
Chuck ends with this, and it is so, so true.
Remember this as I leave, Tupac sold 5 million records when he was living. 22 million after he's dead. Now, cats ain't saying they trying to really die, but you know, really, if they could get close to a line, because when it comes down to us, bad news is the only news. That's it.
Thank you. Let's go ahead for Chuck D.
Before we get into it, if there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open. Please, if you can, support this channel. Become a paid member and or go to tyt.com/join to support the network as a whole. I believe, even though this is many years old, it still rings true today, and that's a sad indictment of where we are when it comes to society. There is the hint, hint, wink, wink of capitalism, late stage capitalism, a bit of socialism, and how it is ingrained in our politics and spit out through the members of our communities and even those outside of who continue to take advantage of the little guy. The first thing is he was talking about how different artists and those in the music industry cannot relate to younger kids. And he is basically saying younger kids are smart. They're just asking questions, and yet there will be a peeved adult who will say, it's just unrelatable. They give me crap, blah, blah, blah. When that's not the reason at all. One of the great things he said here was there has to be a balance, right? And then he also said the kids like this person or that person because of what they wear, how they talk, how they carry themselves. But it also has to be, musically speaking, because of the substance. Me personally, I mean, you see who's on my wall. You see who I like. It's mainly conscious rap, but that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that I don't, like Wilson Pickett, or I don't like something completely different like Parcels. Like, I am a fan of music, but when it comes to hip hop, I like a certain thing. And he even said it's okay to be neutral. It's okay to be this way or that way. Like, do whatever you want, but there has to be substance. And I believe that goes into telling the story of your surroundings, calling out the atrocities, calling out the powerful. And speaking of, this whole thing that he was talking about with, hey, like, he was talking about Talib Kweli and the struggles of getting time on the radio. This has just evolved, in my opinion, to Spotify. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all of them. What we have seen is a capitalist dream that they will pay not even pennies, but as we learned from Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys, 0.0001 cent per play to the artist. That's why you see a bunch of dudes that are in their 60s and 70s still touring. It's because there's no money in it unless you're at the tippy top and you can control the artist. That is free market capitalism that has been detrimental to those who are doing the work to make the music that we love so much. So those suits can make a ton of money. What's the CEO, Daniel Ek, I believe his name is? What's his net worth? Billions. He was talking about buying Arsenal. Billions. And yet the Black Keys are making 0.000001 cent per play. That doesn't make sense to me. And then Chuck D brings up something else that has been a trend for years upon years upon years. When an artist is around, they're great. But when they pass, they're like a god. And the plays go up. We saw this with Amy Winehouse. We saw this with MF Doom, everyone in between and everyone that will come after. Explain that to me. Why? Why, as Chuck did, did Tupac Shakur have so many plays, but then when he passed, endless? Explain it to me. Chuck D is great. I would love to have him on the show sometime. If anybody knows him, get me in touch. I would love to have that interview. I have a lot of questions, and I'll save some of those questions for another day. Appreciate everybody watching. Have a good day.